So starting here is the bigger brother who stole our food when we grew up, and that's Darren. This is his wife, Shanna. This is my son, Dallas, my wife, Heather. This is David. And
Who?
His wife, Melody. My mother, Cheryl. Dad, Roger. Grandmother, who is grandmother to me. And I actually had to ask what her first name was today, because she's always been grandmother. I'm just kidding. Her name is Dolores. And that is her husband, my man, RJ. We call him Old Biscuit, but we'll go with RJ today.
What's the best answer you can give us on what you did early on that set these guys on the paths that obviously they've done a pretty good job of sticking to?
I told them, give me 1 hour a day. You can have the other 23. Just give me an hour a day. And a lot of times they didn't want to throw, or like Darren, he didn't want to go out and tackle. I mean, it was, it's not all the time they wanted to do it, but I said, just give me an hour. Okay. And hard work pays off.
You guys try to plant those seeds in them and build that in your family, because I think there are a lot of families out here that would like to have the same kind of results.
Of course, people ask us that question a lot. I get that a lot as a mom. And of course, the bottom part of that is God. We have raised them in church, raised them in God. They didn't have a choice to go to church, they went. There was not a, do you want to go today? No, you're going. If they were sick with a flu, fever, dying, or in the hospital, they could stay home. But that was pretty much how I was, so that was how I raised.
They were all drug babies. We drug them to church.
Yes, we did. But eventually they decided it was fine to go.
Dave, what do you remember from childhood that when you think back and as you raise your growing family, that was really meaningful to you, that your parents maybe said or reinforced or held you accountable to, that you think has been real instrumental in the life you've led?
Just love, man. I mean, when I was growing up, I didn't realize how blessed I was to be in the family. Stop talking? That's not very nice. Stop it. See, you don't realize it either. I'm just kidding. No, I didn't. Yeah, when you're growing up, I know. You don't realize what the surroundings that you're in. Like when you're young, you're like, oh, my parents are talking again. Just stop talking, No, but and then as I grew up, and then I started getting into high school and started getting into college, and I realized how blessed I was, because a lot of those kids didn't have the family life that I had. They didn't have the foundation, just the love around them. I remember guys that I played with here in Fresno that would come over to my house, and they would have like just a random cereal that I had in my house. And he's like, I've never had this cereal before in my whole life. Like my parents just kind of just ignored me for breakfast, and we were on our own. And I just look at him, and it's like that never crossed my mind that there were people out there that were hurting, and then that were in that kind of situation in a family life. So. And
one of the things you talked about, Derek, was that when it comes to your faith and your walk, maybe you were drifting a little bit from those things that your mom and dad had taught you as a boy, and that it was Heather who kind of squared you up and focused you on what was important. Tell us how that went down.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jesus, by the grace of Jesus Christ, by God's grace, right? God used her, and I'm glad that she listened, because coming in as a highly recruited person, like the worldly things matter, right? At the time, and in my head it did. And I always say I want to go back and beat that person up, who I was. And I'm very open with my life, because I want the kid. I've seen so many kids, young quarterbacks and stuff in here, and I got to meet you, and I want to be very open with you about my life. I thought that I was on the high road. I was going to play in the NFL. I was going to start for 1 year, and I'm gone. I'm going to these. I'm tired of this. I don't like school. And I ended up with my degree and playing for 5 years. So, so thanks, Coach. But all these things were happening, and then all of a sudden, God puts this woman into my life, who is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. And she walks by, and and I get to know her, and I find out that she's a Christian and all these things. And then, I was still being an idiot, and she writes me a letter, and it says, "You're not the person that I thought you were." And that was kind of like it. She didn't want anything to do with me after that, and I wouldn't have either. The way she was raised by her great parents, I'm sure they didn't want her to have anything to do with me as well. And from that moment on, God used her. God used her in a big way to change my life. And now I just live for the sole purpose, football and those stats and all these things, winning championships is great. It's so fun to be a part of, and it just makes the platform bigger. But the only reason I live my life now is to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. And what if I go to the NFL? Thank you. Yeah, clap for him. If I go to the NFL, which hopefully we had a good enough career to do those things.
I don't know. You guys think he'll get drafted?
It doesn't matter if I'm the best quarterback to ever play the game. It doesn't matter if I'm the absolute worst. I'm still going to have this same face. I'm still going to be happy. I'm still going to be joyful because I have the joy of the Lord in my heart. And as long as I can go and change one life, then I did absolutely everything that Jesus Christ and God sent me here to do. And I'm just going to let the Holy Spirit move through me just like He does and spread the gospel because that's my sole purpose.